Hey guys, welcome to Coin Engineers for another video. So today I'm gonna quickly show you guys two applications on the App Store and one of them on the Google Store that you guys can use for trading meme coins. Before I speak any further, let's get right into it. So the first application is called Vector. So what I'm gonna do is first go into the App Store and search for Vector Fund. Just write Vector Fund and as you can see, as in mine, it is already downloaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and once I open it up, you will see my wallet section over here, home section, search section if you guys wanted to search for any coins, and also alert section and also favorites. So I'm gonna quickly talk about some of the chains that you guys can use on this app. If I click on receive over here, you can see all of the chains that I can use this application with, which is pretty cool because it does have abstract and bearer chain, which I don't think a lot of the applications does have. So this is pretty a huge plus for this. Not that it is abstract chain and bearer chain are huge, but it is possible that in the future that they might get a little bit of more of a volume, and in case that people wanted to trade those, it would make it a lot easy because it is pretty difficult to actually bridge into abstract chain, especially for beginners. So in that case, it does make it a little bit easier for people who wanted to use the abstract chain to trade like meme coins and stuff like that. They can basically click on here or copy their wallet address, coming to here, and then send some funds in there. And most people are going to use this probably trading Solana, and basically they do that. So if you wanted to basically send some Solana in here, what you can do is you can click on copy over here and send yourself some Solana. And in order to trade, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our homepage, and we're going to see from the people that we are following, we are going to get some sort of recommendations in the For You tab. And in this For You tab, what happens is that through these recommendations, you will see other broadcasts, which means that other people have bought it and they have showed it in their profile and they wanted to broadcast it for other people to see, which means we can see exactly how much they bought, how much they sold, and how much they are still holding, which is a pretty cool function. It does bring some more transparency into the game. However, keep in mind, other people always have some spare wallets and you never know what they're actually doing. So if I was a very famous person and I wanted to shill something using this app and I wanted to sell on some of my side wallets, that will be very still possible to do. So I wouldn't really recommend, just because someone has bought something, I wouldn't really recommend just aping into it full stop. Just treat this just like another meme coin game and treat it like a casino. Don't put all your money here, and make sure you're playing with the proper risk management system. So let's go ahead and talk about what are some of the other features you can see. So over here, if I scroll down, I can see what are some other people are aping into. So I can see this coin, for example, called TRXDE. So if I wanted to see what this is about, I can go into it. I can see some information about it. It's Twitter, website, Telegram, and I can search it on X basically. I can also see some other things like how much is the dev holding, how much insiders are holding, and the top 10 holders. And it basically gives you some sort of a data if that is a good or not, which is pretty good in my opinion, because dev holding about 10% is a lot, but I've seen instances where the dev is holding a whole lot more than that and it has succeeded. So again, in this game, you never really know at the end of the day what is going to succeed and what is not. So you really just take your best bet and go for it. So in this case, for example, if I go into broadcast, I can see exactly how much people have bought, how much they have sold, at exactly what point. So for example, we can see on the red dot over here, someone has sold. And if you wanted to see who this guy is, I can just scroll down, look for his user, and I can see it is this srose23, and he has sold about $250 and he's still holding about $827. The feedback is live, so that means he's still holding this amount of money, and he has bought in about 2,000 and sold about 1,800. So he is about almost sold all of his initials, which does make this a little bit more risky, because if he feels like there's not going to be enough volume that is coming into this, he will eventually sell and leave. And some of the other cool functions is if I wanted to go ahead and follow some of the people, so as you can see, I'm actually getting some notifications from either this app, from this guy actually doing some broadcasts, and he has bought this coin called, so he bought quite a bit actually. He bought about 2400 worth of it, and he's holding about 2800 worth since his bags have pumped a little bit after he has broadcasted it. And he does have quite a decent bit of following in here, so he has about 30,000 followers. So he does get this when he does broadcast. It does happen to have a lot of people that do ape into it afterwards, so do keep that in mind, and don't just blindly ape into things. But you can see that he has been doing pretty decent trade where he has had a weekly PNL that is his best weekly PNL of about $300,000, which is amazing. And his current weekly PNL is about $3,000. But do keep in mind, this guy is trading with a lot of money, and if your bankroll is not the same, you're probably not going to be able to catch up with these type of PNLs. So you do want to consider these at a percentage rate, which, as in his point, the percentage rates are probably a little bit less since he is aping with more money. And one of the other features of this that I like is if you wanted to do some broadcast and if you had some sort of a following, what you can do is you can go ahead, use this to buy some meme coins of your own, choose to broadcast them, and then as people buy off your broadcast, what happens is you make a percentage of that fee, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So you do, if you had a decent following, you could make a good amount of money in this app. Personally though, I'm not using this app way too much. I actually have stopped using it for the last couple months because I'm not really a huge guy on meme coins. This is just for educational purposes, so I'm not really telling you guys what to buy and what to sell here. You guys can definitely do your own research if you guys are into this type of thing. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go into the other application, which has been launched pretty recently, about a week ago, and it is called Launchcoin. It is also called Believe on the App Store. So if you go into our app store and search for Believe, we can see the app right here. And if you guys have a Google store or any of the other ones like Android store, this is not going to be there. So keep that in mind. It is only available on the app store at the moment. And if I go ahead and open this up, I can see the UX is pretty cool. It is pretty simple. I can see the featured apps on here. I can see the new ones. And to be honest, for a new application, the amount of volume this has gotten in the first couple days is pretty insane. And also considering that there are some coins that have made it above a couple million market cap, especially this one Polycule that launched in the last couple days, I believe, has gone up to 10 million market cap, which is pretty insane. And in the first 2 days, these guys have made about $1 billion in trading volume, which is humongous. If you think about it, that is insane amount of volume. And especially when you consider how much these guys are making through fees and everything, it is very good. And also they're sharing about 50% of their revenue through the fees with their creators. And in order to, for example, launch a coin here, what you can do is you can go ahead on an X, go to their Twitter and look up the instructions on how to launch a coin. It is very simple. You just copy and paste the system and it just launches it for you. And let's look into one of these, for example, Creator Buddy. So this is an application that was created by Alex Finn on Twitter. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. For example, I already have it pulled up over here, and you can see on his bio, he's already mentioning creatorbuddy.io, so you can go to the website if you wanted to use that. And if you wanted to see what this does, he has shared a video and pinned it on his profile, which has gotten about 500,000 views, which is very good for somebody that only has about 300,000 followers. Very decent. It's a pretty cool app. It is definitely something I will use, but it is not something that I will actually buy into because I don't really believe into the whole idea of investing into these type of applications because they're pretty new. And at the same time, keep in mind, these are all considered as meme coins in a way. Although it is working through AI and everything, it hasn't been really back tested and it hasn't really been funded through VCs. So you don't really know if big money is coming into this. It's just a bunch of people just basically making some valuations on the top of their head and assuming how much of a market cap valuation this thing is going to come to. So if you ask me, it is still very, very risky to invest into these type of coins. So let's go ahead and see what else we have in the Launchcoin. We can see there is something called Giggles, and if we went into this, we can see they have about 110,000 signups, 150 million views on social media, and they haven't spent anything on marketing. I guess this is one of the reasons this has done so well, because of their social following on other platforms. If you, for example, go ahead and look into some of these other ones that I like, I do like this idea over here of Noodle, where to put in about $10, $20 worth of Solana and somebody eats you, you basically get to take their money, that's whatever they have actually funded into their account for every single round, which is a very cool idea. It is kind of like a PvP, and it does make it a little bit more fun, but do keep in mind investing into these type of applications obviously is very risky. Do I think that it might do well? Obviously it has a lot of potential, as it is kind of the first game that has done something like this, and I do think that this might actually create a trend to have other applications that are more like this, where you can actually spend and play against other people and kind of gamble with your skills. And I do think that is actually more fun than just aping into meme coins, where you have no idea and if the cat is cute and if the dog is cute. They're all cute at the end of the day, right? So let's go ahead and look into some of these other applications over here. And if you go into the new section, you will see some of the other applications at some smaller valuations over here. One of the ones that I really liked was this one over here called Belief Screener. And in order to use this, I'm gonna come over here, go into this guy's Twitter. So it seems I cannot find it through there. So what I'm gonna do is, I do think they are having some problems with this app at the moment, but they are doing some updates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for NanoWisp on Twitter, and then let's go into his accounts, and we can see beliefscreener.com is the website. So once we go on here, we can see all the applications that has launched, at least the top ones that has launched on this Launchcoin application on Believe, and you can see what their market cap is. You can also see the amount of volume that they have done, which is pretty insane right now. They have about $2.5 billion in trading volume in the last couple of days. This is literally crazy. I don't think even Pump Fund had something crazy as this. And the total market cap is 370 million market cap, which is basically all the coins that has launched on Launchcoin, including Launchcoin itself, which is around at 200 million market cap at the point, 460,000 different transactions, and that 24-hour volume is about $170 million, which is crazy. And they have made about $3.6 million in trading fees, and keep in mind about half of that has gone to the creators, which is pretty insane. So if you look into some of these other coins that you wanted to see, you can go from top to bottom. So I guess the one after Launchcoin is called Startup. I haven't really checked into that one. Personally, I haven't seen that. You guys can go ahead and see what some of these are if you're interested to actually play around with them. I do recommend actually playing into some of these applications and using the applications, but not really investing into them. I'm not personally investing or buying any of these coins, and this video is purely for educational purposes, so please consider it as such. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else interesting. There is this thing called AI Creator, which might be a little bit undervalued at the moment. I don't know exactly what it does, but I guess we can kind of go over here, click on it, and then view it on DEX. And once we do that, it is an AI creator, and if you go into its website, okay, so I see what this is. This is basically you creating content with AI through influencers that doesn't really exist. So it is basically imaginary people, but they're actually real people that has been created through AI, and you can make him say whatever you want to say, which is pretty cool for marketing actually. I don't know if it works perfectly or not, but you do have to pay for this, I guess. In order to use it, you do have to get some credits. But the way that it makes me think is that if you have to spend this much money, it might be pretty legit. It might be worth literally giving it a try, especially if you have something that you need to use these type of influencer contents for. And again, like I said, I'm not really into the whole thing of really buying into this coin. It might be worth it. It might do 10x, 20x. For all I care, they're all very risky to really buy into because they're all speculation at the end of the day. And you can see the creator has made about $100,000 in trading volume, which is very, very good for an app like this. And you guys can go ahead and see some of the other applications on your own through that belief screener, which I think is very cool to use. If you guys wanted to see some of the other applications that are getting launched here, and do keep in mind that a lot of applications that launches here are not really becoming visible on the app, at least because it does need to reach some sort of a trading volume in order to be visible here on the application. So a lot of those applications are not coming up here, but you can see more of them on belief screener. So go ahead and play around with this and let me know what you think in the comments below. That is it for today's video, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you and have a blessed day.